Hey there, Saints. Pastor Dave here with another weekly devotional for you. I'm going to start with a reading from Sarah Arthur's One Year Daily Grind. And this one starts with a question. Well, it starts with a quote from Dorothy Sayers, but it is about questions. The artist can, out of his own experience, tell the common man a great deal about the fulfillment of man's nature in living. But he can produce only the most unsatisfactory kind of reply if he is persistently asked the wrong question. This curious quote helps me wade through some of the odd and convoluted responses Jesus gave to many of the questions he was asked. It's not that he was evading the issues by offering unsatisfactory answers, but that he was persistently asked the wrong questions. He was continually asked to solve people's problems. For example, tell my brother how to divide the inheritance with me. Or, is it right for me to pay taxes to Caesar? Questions like these, when the real question Jesus wanted to answer was about salvation. So he never quite gave people the answers they were looking for. The paralytic wanted physical healing, but Jesus offered him forgiveness of sins first. That's because the important question wasn't, will you heal my paralysis, but will you heal my spiritual brokenness? Saints, I think we all have questions for God, don't we? We all have questions that usually start with the word why. I've recognized this about myself. Most of my questions for God start with why. Why, God, did this happen and not that? Why, God, was there this disaster that came and hurt this group of people? Why, God, does that person seem to always get away with doing wrong or doing evil and never face consequences? Why, God, do you reach out in the ways that you do to the people that you do? Why do you seem to be so quiet, so silent in the face of these other tragedies that are going on? Most of my questions for God start with why. And as I thought about that, I realized most of my daughter's questions start with why, or at least the hardest questions do. Why do we have 5 fingers on our hands? I don't know. Why am I your daughter? I don't know. That's a real mind bender. Why do I have to go to bed now? Well, that one's a little easier. But a lot of a kid's questions start with why. A lot of our own questions for God start with why. And those why questions don't always have easy answers, do they? And as Sarah pointed out, they may not be the questions that God is really the most interested in, that Jesus really responded to, or that he asked himself. As I think about what takes place in the scriptures, a lot of the questions that Jesus really has an interest in start with will you? As in, will you be my disciple? Will you follow me? Will you receive forgiveness for your sin? Will you acknowledge your need, your brokenness? Will you reach out to people who are different from you, to neighbors and strangers who are different in ways that make you uncomfortable? Will you serve and will you love the other? As I consider that, I realize that maybe the questions that I'm asking aren't the right questions, or they aren't the most important questions. And maybe if I really want answers from God, I need to be asking different questions. I wonder what the questions you have look like, sound like. And I wonder how they might differ from the questions that God is asking you. Think about it this week, Saints. That's your devotional, and I hope it's worth considering. I hope it's helpful. I hope you're doing well and staying healthy, and I will be praying for you. Hope you'll keep praying for me. Y'all take care. I'll see you again soon.